because you were the author of that email,
I understand.
I'm just trying to make sense of which culture or religion
I understand
would
the
be.
question, and you're going to need to talk to Ryan.
You can't. Have you been ordered not
Okay, have
to?
you heard me? Because I've now said that about 4 times,
Okay.
and so we're done.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, talk about the Grinch who would have stolen Halloween. That would have been Karen Thomas. She's the principal here at Sloan School. Now, earlier this month, Karen Thomas emailed a notice to parents saying that Halloween costumes would be discouraged and that even the name Halloween wouldn't be used this year. Instead, it would be something called Fall Celebration. I guess even Black and Orange Day is too risque. The reason for the ban, evidently, was cultural and religious reasons, whatever that means. I think it means there might be cultures and religions that don't celebrate Halloween, so in order to be inclusive, Karen Thomas here at Sloan Public School was being exclusive regarding the majority of kids who want to celebrate what is a Canadian tradition. There was also an argument that maybe some families couldn't afford Halloween costumes for their youngsters, and perhaps that's a good reason to obliterate Halloween this year as well. In any event, there was an immediate outcry by parents and even members of the public who have no skin in the game, and the ban was reversed. But I'm here at Sloan Public School to see if Karen Thomas will go on the record with me and try to explain, try to connect the dots, why suddenly a time of year that's all about having fun and dressing up and playing pretend is holiday non grata. Let's see what we can find out. Oh, no problem at all. Thank you for letting me in. My name is David Menzies with Rebel News, and I was hoping to speak to Karen Thomas, if she's here. Thank you.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Ms. Thomas.
Yep.
David Menzies. How you doing there,
I'm
Rebel
good.
News? Do you have a few seconds for an interview?
Nope. You can talk to Ryan Bird at the board.
We've talked to Ryan before.
Yeah.
But
So it goes through him.
it's. Can I just tell you what it's about? The Halloween email.
Yeah, I understand.
Oh, okay then. And I'm just trying to get an answer to which culture or religion.
So
would
you
be
can have that conversation with Ryan. So he's taking all the media requests around this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But you were the author of that email then, right?
All of those are going through Ryan.
You can't tell me even that. I'm not trying to give you a hard
all
time.
Of the
right?
requests, all the media requests are going through Ryan.
Okay.
Okay. So
I-
you'll
I'm
need
just-
to connect with him.
I'll drive because that's the office at Young and Shepherd,
Yeah.
right? 50-50, I
I
think.
think he's at 50-50, but you
Right.
can give him a call if you need.
Okay then.
Okay.
I just thought, just to cut out the middleman, because you were the author of that email,
I understand.
I'm just trying to make sense of which culture or
I
religion
understand
would
the
be.
question, and you're going to need to talk to Ryan.
You can't. Have you been ordered not
Okay,
to?
have you heard me? Because I've now said that about 4 times.
Okay.
And so we're done.
I'm like the bad
Thank you.
kid in the class.
Thank you.
Well,
Have
thank
a
you
great day.
thank you for your time, anyways. Thank you.
That's his
Oh,
number.
thank you so much. I appreciate that. You take care. Bye bye.
Well, that was more of a trick than a treat, I would say. Karen Thomas, the author of her own email, couldn't even articulate what the reasons are, and she's now directing inquiries to Ryan Bird, who is a spokesman at the Toronto District School Board. We've spoken to Mr. Bird before. He's a good guy. Maybe he can try to make some sense into a Halloween ban. So let's go to the Toronto District School Board headquarters and find out what Mr. Bird has to say. Well, I'm with Ryan Bird. He is a spokesman here at the Toronto District School Board, and as you saw, folks, the principal insisted that we speak directly with Mr. Bird. So I guess, Ryan, the opening question is, when did Halloween become such a hot potato?
Well, and that's an important thing to point out. The fact is, for years now, schools right across the TDSB have been celebrating Halloween with Halloween parades, costume parades, haunted houses, Halloween activities, Halloween parties. And so that is not stopping. We are continuing to celebrate Halloween right across the TDSB. At this one school, however, they had a discussion about how do we make sure that all of our kids still have fun and feel included in the day if you have a number of them that don't celebrate Halloween or for whatever reason don't wear a Halloween costume. So that's where the conversation started at this one school. They heard from parents loud and clear, though, and made the ultimate decision that we would continue celebrating Halloween as we always have at that school, but at the same time make sure there are activities available for other kids that may not celebrate it or aren't wearing a Halloween costume for whatever reason. So there'll be things for them to do.
And I think, Ryan, before the principal reversed her decision, it was going to go through. There was going to be no Halloween costumes at this school. Even the term Halloween was going to be replaced I think the word was, or the term was a celebration of fall. I don't know how you celebrate fall, but in any regard, I'm just curious, one of the ostensible policy reasons for doing this was religious and cultural reasons. I'm wondering, was there any particular religion, any particular culture, or even any specific complaints from people of those religions or cultures that the principal received that made her go ahead with that original decision?
From what I understand, there were a number of different reasons. There are people that don't celebrate Halloween. There are kids that aren't wearing costumes for whatever reason. My understanding is that there were some that may not be able to afford Halloween costumes. So it wasn't any one specific reason. We just know that a number of students at the school, for whatever reason, either didn't celebrate it or didn't wear costumes. So instead of singling that group out by saying, well, we're going to continue with our Halloween activities and you do regular schoolwork, we wanted to make sure they still had fun, felt included in the day. So that's why they tried to have a range of activities. So Halloween is still alive and well at the school and across the TDSB. We're just making sure that people that don't celebrate it have something to do and are still having fun with the day.
But, going back to the original decision, Ryan, before there was an outcry by parents and even members of the public that had nothing to do with the school, is there not a bit of perverse irony here that with this principle trying to be inclusive to everyone, that meant excluding Halloween, which I believe the majority of the students do celebrate there?
Well, and I think there's a balancing act that you have to achieve here. So there was the initial concern that how do we make sure that kids that aren't celebrating still have fun? But at the same time, I think the eventual decision was managing both sides. We have the kids that celebrate Halloween still being able to have fun, and we have the kids that don't celebrate Halloween or aren't wearing Halloween costumes still having fun. So admittedly, it is a balancing act trying to make sure that everyone still has fun and feels included, and in the end, I think we managed to achieve that at the school.
And Ryan, can you speak to me about how much power a principal has at an individual TDSB school? I mean, if she hadn't reversed her decision, if she was hell-bent, pardon the pun, to go ahead with a Halloween ban, would she have the right indeed to enforce it, or would somebody at the school board have stepped in and corrected the situation?
Well, typically, principals at our schools do make local decisions. They make those every single day, quite frankly, because they are the manager of that school. But in general, our approach across the TDSB when it comes to Halloween is that we mark it, we celebrate it, we have costumes anywhere and everywhere. So in general, across the TDSB, we support Halloween costumes and celebrations. But at the same time, we recognize that she was trying to do a good job in the fact that she wanted to recognize and make sure other kids were still having fun. In the end, though, look, we decided that it was best that we continue as we always have, and we're still celebrating Halloween, making sure that everyone's having fun on that day.
I guess, is there any kind of concern, Ryan, in terms of, there was obviously a cultural, religious, financial reason why the principal wanted to not have Halloween celebrated at this particular school this year. But what if it was something else? I'm thinking, because it's almost that time of year, Remembrance Day. What if we had a principal that looked upon Remembrance Day as, say, a glorification of war, and for some kind of ideological reason said, I'm sorry, there's going to be no Remembrance Day ceremony at the school, and children cannot wear poppies? How would that go down?
Well, I can tell you that, look, local decisions are made at schools all the time, but there are certain things that we mark as a system. Remembrance Day, for example, is one of them. No schools would be able to opt out of that. The fact is, at the TDSB, we recognize Remembrance Day in all of our schools right across the board, and it's just not something we would entertain.
And I guess last question, Ryan, is this particular school, the Sloan Avenue School, is this just a one-off, or do you know of any other schools that in the Toronto District School Board system might be not celebrating Halloween or replacing it with something else like a celebration of fall or Black and Orange Day?
As far as I know, all of our schools are marking Halloween. Now, some of them will have other activities for kids to do that may not celebrate Halloween, but the fact is all of our schools end up celebrating Halloween. We see it every year on social media, on the news. We see our schools all dressed up and decked out in Halloween costumes, and that will continue this year.
Well, there you have it. Thanks to Principal Thomas reversing her decision to ban Halloween, this particular trick-or-treat story has a happy ending. But every once in a while, we have to have an educrat or a principal contemplate banning something just for imaginary reasons, for complaints that do not exist but might exist, maybe, perhaps, could be. Well, in the words of Pink Floyd, hey, teacher, leave them kids alone, at least when it comes to having fun on October 31st. For the Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, do you like the journalism the Rebel News brings you on a daily basis? Well, if so, keep in mind that we don't receive a nickel of government funding, unlike so many members of the media party, nor would we accept any government funding if offered. Rather, we depend on you, our viewership, for our survival. Therefore, if you can kindly make a donation, please visit donations.rebelnews.com. That's donations.rebelnews.com to ensure that we can bring you the kind of journalism you've grown accustomed to here at Rebel News.